Honorable Co-Chair, can you just unmute yourself, please?
Good morning, Honorable Co-Chair, and also good morning, honorable members, and also our guests and stakeholders in the meeting. The chairperson has already opened the meeting as usual, and I just want to say to our guest, good morning, and also I'm also happy to be part and parcel of the meeting today, which is so very critical. And as I know that it is important for us as members to have the voice from the stakeholders and also to hear their pulse on what is it exactly that they think about this Code of Conduct and Ethics of I think it's also 1998 or 96. Honorable members, we have just hold this gathering during the month of the youth. We call this month a youth month, which we are not going to waste time of it. I hope you have managed to get the invitations of the intergovernmental dialogue that will be on Monday. That's where we are going to hear a lot from the youth about that. And we are also looking forward for July month, which we all know and enjoy it as older person, which we know that we always commemorate that month of July. The only thing that I would like to express and also emphasize is that let us assist one another and join hands in terms of the crime that is taking place in our country, and also avoid to be xenophobic and just look at the constitution that we have in our country. Chairperson, I'm not going to waste time because today it's not our day. We have to give over to honorable members and also to our stakeholders to present themselves. I know for a fact that the chairperson is also going to say and request us to adopt the agenda as it has been proposed, and we allow the presentations to follow suit after that. Then we just understand that immediately after each and every presentation, we will engage to that. Everybody who's present in the meeting is free to do so. Thank you very much, Co-Chair. You can proceed in terms of apologies and all the stuff, and also the adoption of the proposed agenda. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you, Co-Chair. I'm then move to item 2 on the agenda. Over to you, Advocate Gordon. That is the apologies.
Morning, co-chairpersons, morning to members of the committee and to colleagues and stakeholders present on the platform this morning. Co-chairpersons, the apologies directed to the office are as follows. The Honourable Breitenbach, she's attending the Joint Committee on Constitutional Review, as well as Honourable Matafa. Then we've got Honourable Selemalelo, who's in the PC of Home Affairs. We've got Honourable Madupe, who's indicated she'll join at about 11 a.m., as well as Honourable Ghana also indicating joining at 11 a.m. And then Honourable van der Berg has indicated that he's also tasked with another program today and will join the committee as he's allowed to do looking at the double program. Co-chairpersons, also just following on from last week's meeting, we had an agenda, an apology extended or questioned rather about Honourable Ndlela as well as Honourable Malo, and the committee requested me to look into those two matters to consider whether the member is still a member of parliament. And I just thought I needed to report on that this morning, that Honourable Ndlela is still a member of parliament, but he's been suspended by his political party. So we therefore have a standing apology for the member once his party matter has been resolved. And then Honourable Kumalo, we've been informed by the NCOP, does attend now and then, and for that reason there's been no express apology extended. So for the purposes of this morning's meeting, the member's apology is then tendered on the basis of illness as well. Thank you, co-chairpersons.
you, Advocate Gordon. Honourable members, I then move on to item number 3 on the agenda. And as you see, that's the adoption of the draft agenda, which was circulated to all members. I herewith request that the agenda be adopted. Can I have a proposer and a seconder, please?
Thank you, Chair. And I don't know what's happening to my gadget, but I move to adopt the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you for the mover. Can I have a seconder, please? I believe that was Honourable Umbaka.
No, thanks very much, Co-Chair. Maybe you never recognized me, Honorable Mukweli. I move to second. Thank you.
Honourable Mukweli, thank you very much for that. I cannot see hands on my device, but I will rectify that as we go along. For practical reasons, my Honourable Co-Chair will chair the first portion of today's agenda, and thereafter I will chair the second part. So I'm going to give over to Honourable Co-Chair, Honourable Mvalo, for the inputs from the Public Protector.
Thank you, Co-Chair. As you have already said, that the first item that must follow is the one of the presentations. But yeah, let me welcome advocates that are present with us, but maybe they will share the platform together and they will tell one another who is going to start. And they must remember that they have got 20 minutes in terms of presenting. And we've got our 10 minutes for interacting with the presentation that is there. Now, let me give over to the Public Protector. Thank you very much. The platform is theirs. Thank you. Please unmute yourself and also introduce yourselves, who is present today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and thank you very much. A very good morning to the honorable members. My name is Koleka Galega. I'm the Public Protector of the Republic of South Africa. With me, I have Advocate Nelisiwe Nkabinde, the Chief Operations Officer for Public Protector South Africa, as well as Advocate Niels van der Merwe, who is the head of our legal services and knowledge management. Honorable Chair, we have forwarded through the presentation. Will it be flighted from your side?
Chair, if I may respond to that, the staff has just got technical issues. They'll flight it within the next couple of seconds.
Thank you very much. But let me thank the committee for inviting us as Public Protector South Africa to also make an input, especially to such a meaningful matter that affects us as the Public Protector. Many times we even have a report that was issued by my predecessor, also touching on the same subject matter. So it's really been opportune time and we really thank the moment. Chairperson, I will then ask Advocate van der Merwe to then present on my behalf. Thank you very much.
Speak through you.
Over to you, Advocate van der Merwe. Thank you very much, Advocate.
Thank you. Good morning, members. Yes. Thank you. Just to give you background in terms of our interest in this matter, as the public protector said I'm the head of legal and knowledge management, and we've made submissions. We welcome the fact that the code is being reviewed. You'll see from our submission that because the code interacts with the Act, and the public protector, the previous public protector, actually as far back as 2016 in the State of Capture report, proposed a review of the Act. And I know it's not the focus of this committee, but we need the committee's support to push the review of the Act in itself as well. Because it was forwarded to the Portfolio Committee and the process was suspended. And the code and the Act is so interactive that without also looking at the issues in the Act, we feel that there's some areas that we cannot even fix now with the code. But to give you the background, the public protector in terms of the Act, our main mandate comes from Section 182 of the Constitution to investigate state affairs and take remedial action. And then Section 3.1 of the EMIA compels the public protector to investigate any valid complaint on alleged breaches of the code. If you go to the next slide, please. I'll proceed to speak while they are catching up. And the court, and the purpose of this submission is to provide the committee with our experience.
Excuse me, Advocate van der Merwe. Can we request you to just, the font that is here, and it mustn't be on the slideshow. It must be at least try to accommodate all of us, those that have got also a eyesight problem. Thanks, you can continue. Sorry for interjection.
Okay, no, hopefully they can increase it a bit if they put it to the slideshow. I apologize that it's not a bit bigger, Chairperson. But what we are saying is that our analysis of the code is anchored in quite a number of EMIA investigations and also the guidance by the courts. And we've identified 9 thematic areas, structural deficiencies and interpretive lacuna in terms of the enforcement gaps. Just to come back to Section 3.1, compels the public protector to investigate a valid complaint. And the court in the, we call it the ZACC 19 case, the Constitutional Court set out the requirements for a valid complaint. It must be in writing, the name and address, the complainant must be a member of the National Assembly or a provincial legislator, and the respondent must be a cabinet member, national or provincial, or the deputy minister president. And it must include the actual breach. Then to come to the next slide, please. What we wanted to present is the fact that the Act in itself, and we just want this as background because there's architecture of EMIA that's in a challenge. Currently, when the public protector receives a complaint, she is compelled to investigate once it meets those 5 requirements set out by the court. But what we found is duplicate complaints that are currently before the Ethics Committee or even a Commission of Inquiry. And the public protector's jurisdiction in terms of EMEA is the jurisdictional issues regulated by EMEA. The procedural issues are regulated by the Public Protector Act. Section 3(4) of EMEA says that when conducting an investigation, the Public Protector has all the powers vested in the Public Protector Act, except Section 6. We are not able to exercise discretionary powers in terms of either referring a matter or declining premature duplicate complaints, especially when other parliamentary avenues have not been exhausted, or complaints that have been time barred in terms of Section 6(9). Those are older than 2 years. So there's an anomaly then in terms of the Act as to what powers of the Public Protector Act, and it's not regulated in the code. It might be something that the committee can look at, please. Then the next slide, whilst they are providing, this is a major structural gap for us. Clause 2, point 1 and 2.2 says that members of the executive must, to the satisfaction of the president, and then gives the standards to which they must comply. Now, there is a satisfaction-based qualifier in clause 2, to the satisfaction of the president or the premier, which we've now come to the conclusion that we are unable, because of the structure, we are compelled to investigate, but we cannot make a finding on alleged breaches of clause 2.1 on the standard, because it's a subjective standard to the satisfaction of the president or the premier, and it cannot be substituted by the public protector's assessment of those standards. Now, if we look at the structure of clause 2, it is intended to set the standards for members of the executive. The challenge is that the process, the architecture there is not complete. It doesn't specify the obligation, how the satisfaction to the president or the premier is triggered to determine whether or not a relevant obligation has been properly discharged. And there is no process to say when it is completed. So when we get an allegation of a breach of clause 2.1, we always get a jurisdictional objection to say, but the public protector is unable to determine whether or not the president is satisfied with the standard. So there is a precursor required in terms of what then, because the president and the premier is designated as the assessor of compliance, and this links up to our first issue of the premature duplicate compliance. If clause 2 is intended to be a filtering mechanism, or a mechanism that puts the premier and the president as the guardian of the standards of ethics, then that process is incomplete. So in our submission, you'll see that we've argued it comprehensively as to how this constrains the public protector's investigations, especially also because clause 2.2 governs how clause 2.1 must be interpreted. But again, there's a structural gap in terms of the mechanism, how even then the standards that's envisaged in clause 2.2 is applied. Thank you. If you go to the next one, this relates to partly what we've said. The president has an oversight and policing function in terms of the clause 2.1, The gap that we find, and I'm not going to repeat that, is when the president is the respondent, when the alleged breach is against the president, because the public protector must within 30 days, and then also report to the exact person who is the subject of the investigation, either be the president or the premier. So there's a gap in terms of who the report should go to, because there's a Latin expression, you can't be the judge in your own matter. So our recommendation is that the speaker must be designated as the recipient of a report and report directly to Parliament when the respondent is the president. The second issue, and it's in the Act, but also we feel it can be managed in the code, is the 30-day time period is manifestly inadequate for complex investigations. We've repeatedly reported to Cabinet that and I've been here for 30 years, that the Act has not been on the statute book for that long. But in my entire experience here in the Public Protector's Office, we've never been able to finalize any investigation within the 30 days. Currently, we interpret it as a progress report, that we must say that we must report within 30 days that an investigation is undergoing and that or active, and that we will report when the matter is completed. But we've had challenges to that, to say that the 30-day report actually means a substantive report on the progress in the investigation, which it cannot be. So we are also requesting to see if it's possible to manage that process by extending the first investigation period to 90 days, with then mandatory progress reporting, perhaps on a quarterly basis, until the investigation report can be completed. Then the next slide. We note that the POPIA alignment, and we welcome that the code be aligned to POPIA. We do recommend the inclusion of the permissible use of declarations for investigation to balance privacy versus public interest for members' family interest, retention periods of records. So we recommend a clear provision on the permissible use and retention periods for declaration and investigation records. And then clause 2.3, there's a number of definitions, but then in hindsight, we found that perhaps it should not be to request the committee to look at definitions might actually hamper the process. So we are toning down and just say, look at interpretive guidance in terms of omissions, assessment factors, and balancing freedom of political expression with the ethical considerations. Then the next slide, please. And this gets back to the fact that we request the committee to support and assist the public protector on the review and amendment of the EMEA Act in itself. We've been pushing it with the Speaker's Office. We've not been furnished with records, and currently the investigation processes of the public protector is severely hampered by these anomalies, as well as the fact in the first place that we are the first port of call for every alleged breach of the ethics code, and yet the process is not properly managed when it comes to us. The office is, and you would know that EMEA Matters is highly politicized and also sensitive. So we also need to build in these safety mechanisms so that the public protector can deal with substantive issues. But after the responsible and agencies and mechanisms in the Constitution, because there's an oversight function on both the President and Parliament on the executive ethics as well before the public protector comes into the picture. But currently we are the first port of call, which is not in terms of the hierarchy as envisaged in the Constitution. That means that functionaries who have the obligation to ensure that Section 196 and Section 96 of the Constitution is complied with, those functions are not properly then canvassed through to the code. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. That would be the presentation of Public Protector South Africa.
Okay, thank you very much, Advocate Van der Merwe, and also the Public Protector. Now it's the opportunity for the honorable members also to engage with that, but I've also taken note of what you are requesting from us to assist you. Let me check for hands now. Advocate Gordon, can you also assist me with the hands? Because from my gadget, I only see one hand.
I see Honorable Britt, co-chair.
Yes, I only see one hand.
Yeah.
Okay. Over to you, Honorable Brett.
Thank you, Honourable Co-Chair. First of all, thank you to the Public Protector for the presentation. I think it's widely welcomed and well presented. Thank you to both advocates. Two concerns I refer to, I think it's slide 1, where it is indicated that only members of the National Assembly can lodge a complaint. Now, Parliament has 2 houses, not only 400 members in the National Assembly, but 454 in both houses, the National Assembly as well as the National Council of Provinces. Is there any specific reason why members of the National Council of Provinces were excluded? And I would suggest that this should be rectified. Then my second question, at this stage, as you've indicated in one of the last slides, that at its core, nobody is holding the president or the deputy president to account in terms of the existing code. That is also an oversight, and I think that should also be rectified. Now, it is stated in the Act and the current code that the president determines whether obligations are discharged, but nobody holds the president to account, and nobody determines whether the president himself or herself in future, maybe, we don't know, has discharged his or her obligations. Does the Public Protector have any suggestion or recommendation of which institution or which office should hold the presidency to account to determine whether he or she has discharged him or her from the obligations? Thank you, Co-Chair. Those are my 2 questions at this stage.
Honorable, can we give over to the Public Protection to answer that?
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you so much to Honorable Brits for the questions. I think there's been an error with the slides, but our submissions are clear. It's actually all members of parliament and all members of the provincial legislature, and not just members of the National Assembly. And we apologize for that oversight in the presentation. On the second question, indeed, it's been quite a challenge, even when we receive matters now in terms of clause 2.1. The only thing that we've now recently done is merely to refer to the president, but what happens thereafter is not within our powers. Our recommendation really, honorable members, is that the president is accountable to parliament. So it's that through the accountability mechanisms in parliament that he then report on these and also be held accountable.
Honorable
Are you
Coach,
done, Advocate?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm done.
Seemingly there is a follow-up from Honorable Brits.
yes,
Let's
thank
allow.
you. Thank you, Honorable Co-Chair. I do have a follow-up, and that's also regarding the oversight mechanism over the president himself. Yes, I do understand that you say Parliament, but Parliament is a huge institution, and as we've seen over the past 30 years, it's a difficult process to say Parliament must hold the president to account. Now that there is a new oversight committee over the presidency, my line of thought is that newly established committee to oversee the president or the presidency might be the most appropriate space where Parliament engage with the presidency and hold the president account in terms of the executive code. I would love your input and to hear your input on that proposal.
Indeed, I think as well, Honorable Brits, that would be most appropriate since the president and the presidency at large now has that committee to which they account. And also, like all the other matters which we actually refer to Parliament after we have concluded, I guess these could also be the matters that we could then refer to that particular committee to then make follow-up on.
Thank you, Public Protector. Are there any other hands, Advocate Gordon? In my gadget, I don't see any.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes.
Thank you, Coach. I do not see anything on the platform from my side. I just want to double check with the staff so we're not missing anybody. They've also confirmed nobody's hands are raised on the platform. Thank you, Co-Chairperson.
Yeah. It was just, it was so swift and nice and clear. Then anyway, even if we still have other questions, the Public Protector's office is around us and is here. Through Advocate Gordon, we will be able to interact and ask them. So with those few words, Public Protector, we want to thank you once more. We want to thank you once more in terms of attending. We understand that you've got a very busy schedule at all times. Everybody who has managed to make this day and dedicate the day for this meeting, we want to thank them. For now, out of the program and agenda, it's said that we need to have a comfort break, but the comfort break is not going to be 30 minutes or more than that. It's going to be lesser because we wanted to change the times for the stakeholders to present, but the stakeholders requested not to change our times because of other programs. So let's thank them and excuse them if they want to, but if they want to stay with us, they are free to do that. Let's just adjourn for until 10 past 10. Thank you very much. Or Korabas, let me say, Korabas 10. Let's agree, Co-Chair, to give them up until 10:15 to have a comfort break. Those that couldn't manage to even take their coffees and tea can do that. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Co-Chairperson, could I come in? Yes,
Thank you
quick.
very much, Chairpersons, and thank you for the indulgence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
Sorry, Co-Chairperson, could I just, with your permission, come in?
Yes, you can come in.
Thank you, Co-Chairperson. Just a correction on the comfort break. We unfortunately have to break until 11. We had a last-minute cancellation and it opened up an entire hour on the program and we couldn't reshape the program late yesterday. So what members will see on the screen is that from 10 to 11, we would have to have a comfort break to accommodate the cancellation that came in late yesterday, and that we would then resume at 11 o'clock, Co-Chairperson, if that is fine with you.
No, I don't have any problem. I understand the one of the cancellations and all the stuff and the request from other presenters not to change their times, though we wanted to shift and finish earlier. So let us be patient and allow that to happen. Can we break until 11 as Advocate Gordon is advising us? And from that 11 o'clock, the session will be taken over by Honorable Chris Brett. Thank you very much. Let's adjourn. We are able to see it, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just want to add that I'm also the coordinator of initiative called Local Government Advocacy and Learning Network, comprising of 80 civil society organizations in Durban. But this presentation is solely from my organization. Okay, ethics must be treated as a higher value than legality. While legality, compliance, sorry, my screen is a bit obscured here. Okay, what's going on here? While legality defines compliance with the law, ethics defines a moral compass that prevents abuse of power and misuse of public funds. In a context where corruption persists across all levels of government today, the emphasis must shift from merely legal conduct to ethical conduct. It must be conduct that upholds integrity, even when the law does not compel it. The executive's summary. Kwenziguhle Community Organization is rooted in good governance, transparency, and accountability. This submission seeks to strengthen ethical accountability for ministers and parliamentarians. The purpose is to ensure that public funds are safeguarded and that ethical standards are applied with a higher moral compass than legal compliance. I personally studied ethics, code of conduct, and professionalism as part of my registration as a professional town clerk in the old dispensation. And I also assisted the Ethics Institute in drafting the Code for Ethical Leadership in Local Government, which was put in force on the 1st of March 2024. These experiences have convinced me that ethical conduct is a prerequisite for leadership in all government departments. I will now turn to specific provisions of the code, section 4. The code currently ends accountability when a member resigns, ceases to be a member, or when a parliamentary term lapses. Sections 4, 3, C, E, and 5 require the committee to close complaint files once a member leaves office, creating a loophole for evasion of responsibility. Our proposed amendment is that accountability must continue to finality even after resignation or expiry of term. Only death, which is covered in section 4.3d, should terminate proceedings. Public funds and public trust demand that all processes reach conclusion regardless of office status. Just a note that section 4.3d, which relates to death, is accepted as an exception. Section 8, remunerated employment and work outside Parliament. The code currently allows members to perform outside remunerated employment with permission from the Chief Whip. This places oversight in party structures and creates potential conflicts of interest. Suggested amendment is that members must not perform or undertake any remunerated employment outside Parliament. Oversight must rest with the registrar and the committee, ensuring impartial enforcement. Outside paid work undermines integrity and must constitute a breach of the code. We just want to take it further with the amounts being paid as salaries or allowances to public representatives. We just feel there should be no need to do outside work. It will be a conflict of interest. In closing, we say the amendments that we propose identified are the only matters of concern. Ethics must be treated as a higher standard than legality, ensuring accountability continues beyond terms of office, prohibiting conflicts of interest, and enforcing transparency. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a very brief but very necessary input from your side, sir. I think that the committee appreciate your input. I'm going to open the floor for questions from members. Let me see if there are any hands. Honourable members, you have now the opportunity to engage with this presentation. Advocate Gordon, from my side, I do not see any hands. Can you just
That's
confirm?
correct, Chair. I do not see any hands as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the presentation. Although there are not any questions or engagement at this stage, I think that is indicative of the fact that your presentation is accepted and that it is appreciated. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bola. Thank you very much. Advocate Gordon, can we flight the agenda, please, that we can proceed with the next presentation?
Thank you, Chair. Tisha, can we get the presentation on the screen, please?
Thank you. Honorable members, I'm going to move on to item number 6 of the agenda. That is a presentation by Mr. Pitso Ramatsebe. Over to you, Mr. Ramatsebe. The platform is yours.
Chair, just if I may, we're just checking to see if the presenter is logged onto the platform. It's still early. Some of the presenters have indicated that they're only logging on when they present. So I just need 2 seconds just to clarify whether Mr. Ramatsebe is logged on. Thank you.
No problem. Please assist.
Thank you, Chair. We don't see him on the platform yet. The staff are just going to see if we can get hold of the presenter. If we're not, then we are again early, Chair, and we're going to have to break for a few minutes until the presenter's on the platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Advocate Gordon. What I'm going to suggest for practical reasons, let's stay on the platform while the staff is attempting to reach Mr. Ramatsebe. If the staff don't succeed, then we will take it from there. Advocate Gordon, can we get an indication from staff whether they are in the position to get hold of Mr. Ramatsebe?
Thank you, Co-Chairperson. The staff were unable to get hold of Mr. Pitso Ramatsebe. Chair, if I could make a suggestion that if we could perhaps take a break, I've also asked them to speak to the presenter after Mr. Ramatsebe to just indicate to them that we are well ahead of time this morning, and if they could also be sensitive to the fact that maybe that they should just be on the platform so that if the presentations do go quicker than anticipated, that the next presenter can proceed. But at this stage, Chair, it looked like we may have to take another break for a few minutes.
Will a 5-minute break suffice, or do you need longer, Advocate Gordon?
Chair, I think let's do 10, 15 minutes. Just see, I've just got just 2 seconds, Chair. I just want to.
Surely.
Just 2 seconds. Okay, I've just been informed he's on he's logged on, Chair, so we can proceed.
Right, thank you. Super.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to then hand over to the next presenter for his presentation, and the floor is yours, sir. If we can flight the presentation in the meanwhile. Advocate Gordon, can we float the presentation so long?
Sorry, Chair, that was miscommunicated. We do not have Mr. Pitsura Matsebi on the platform. We have the presenter after him who is present. So the staff are requesting to move that presenter up into the slot.
Yes,
And then
sure.
when Mr. Ramasebo joins, he can then present after. And so the next presenter, with your permission, Chair, would be the representation, the first representation of the Indigenous people, if we can proceed.
Yes, thank you, Advocate Gordon. Honourable members, we then move on to item 7 on the agenda. We will come back to item 6 as soon as the presenter has logged in. So item 7 is a proposal and a presentation by First Peoples. I see High Commissioner Esther Johnson, the founder of the First Peoples Indigenous United Nations. Over to you, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity. As the coordinator has indicated, I am High Commissioner Esther Johnson, the founder of the FPIUN. It is an NPO, and also High Commissioner for the Tamkake Nation of Southern Africa. Now, the purpose of this presentation, it is a shared ethical future for South Africa. The submission on the proposed amendment to the Executive Ethics Code, it's integrating the First Peoples ethical governance traditions into national accountability frameworks. Next slide, please. Thank you. The reason we are here and the purpose of this submission, just a key message: the First Peoples bring living wisdom that strengthens the Republic's ethical architecture, not as legacy, but as a living contribution. The purpose of this submission, of course, is to respond to Parliament's invitation on the Executive Ethics Code. We present living Indigenous governance traditions of the First Peoples. It supports a stronger ethical accountability in public office. And we also contribute towards a more inclusive and representative democracy, which I believe is very important. Everybody has to be included. There has to be oversights, especially pertaining to ethics. Next slide, please. Ethics has always been part of this land, pre-colonization, pre every other peoples moving into Southern Africa, specifically South Africa. The first peoples who were here, who were found here, has always had ethics as part of their governance. There is a council of accountability, which is leaders answer before community. Transparency is foundational. Consensus leadership is what the First Peoples have founded their governance on, consensus leadership, which means decisions made are collective. This builds trust and ownership collectively. Restorative justice, accountability with dignity, and this means repair over punishments. Stewardship, leadership carries duty to future generations and the land. That is what stewardship means. And it should form parts of a broader presentation of the entire country as a whole, across all nations within the Republic of South Africa. Integrity and humility. Leadership is service, power is held in trust. So we focus on leadership being a service and not an opportunity to conduct oneself in an unethical fashion. Ethical leadership in Southern Africa is not imported, it is deeply, deeply rooted right here. Thank you. Next slide, please. Now, the legal framework, constitutional and international foundations. According to the South African Constitution of 1996, Section 211, it recognizes traditional leadership and customary law. Section 212, it allows recognition of traditional governance structures. And then we have UNDRIP. It may maintain their political institutions. UNDRIP allows for that, or it gives guidance to that, indicating that we may maintain our political institutions. We may preserve legal and social systems, and the states are encouraged to engage respectfully. The state is always encouraged to engage respectfully, and we are also always encouraged to engage respectfully with the states. Legal basis for inclusion, and this is the key takeaway. Recognition of indigenous traditions supports both the Constitution and international obligations of the Republic. Next slide, please. Indigenous Ethical Advisory Council. This is a practical proposal. I have two proposals stated here. This is the first one. It's a consultative body of recognized First Peoples representatives, including Khoi and San houses. The ethical perspectives, Indigenous ethical viewpoints on governance affecting First Peoples communities. I believe that is not something that is currently fully practiced within the governance of the country. And it is very important. In fact, it is crucial for the First Peoples to be part of that. Cultural guidance. Cultural guidance on ethical accountability and leadership standards. At the advisory engagements, it would be a meaningful advisory participation to support Parliament's work, not to exclude or to ignore, but to support. We come on the basis of wanting to be part of, to integrate with parliaments, with governments, not to be separate, but to be part of. And this is very important for the democracy of our country. We have cooperative governance, promoting cooperative governance and collaborative nation building. Again, we want to be part of. Every single nation within South Africa must be part of governance, cooperative governance, and collaborative nation building. And I think this is something that the entire Republic should strive for. This council strengthens Parliament's work. It doesn't weaken it, it strengthens it. It does not replace or compete with existing democratic institutions. It wants to form part of it. Next slide, please. Now, this is the practical proposal, the second practical proposal, formal engagements, Parliament, between Parliament and First Peoples institutions. We have public ethics, very important. ethics and accountability in public office. This would obviously require oversight of what happens within public office. Then we have indigenous representation. Indigenous voices in national governance is super important. It has to be part, and not on a minimal basis, but in a holistic, inclusive basis. Indigenous representation is very important. The cultural governance does matter, are the first peoples. It's very important. Our culture is this country, and it should be part of everything pertaining to the parliaments and to the Republic of South Africa, including the first peoples. Cultural governance broadens the capabilities and the abilities within the governance of the Republic of South Africa. Then we have the reconciliation, which is inclusive, reconciliation, and nation building. Reconciliation, again, it's inclusive reconciliation and nation building. It's not separate. It's not the first peoples and then the other peoples. It's inclusive. So that is how we envision the ethics and the governance of this country to be. And the outcome for that only means a stronger democratic culture rooted in inclusion, in dignity, and in trust. We have a parliament that leads by example. Next slide, please. Thank you. Her requests for consideration. There are 4 concrete requests before this honorable committee. One is acknowledgements, recognize First Peoples' ethical governance traditions as a valued contribution to national identity. The second one, formal inclusion, recognize Indigenous leadership voices as equal participants in national ethics dialogue. 3, consultation mechanisms, structured consultation with Khoi and San traditional leadership is very important. There has to be structured consultation, not loose consultation or informal consultation. It has to be structured consultation. And lastly, ongoing dialogue. We envision a long-term, respectful relationship between parliaments and the First Peoples' descendants. That is what we envision. That is what we want. It's what we've wanted for the longest time, for an ongoing dialogue, a respectful ongoing dialogue. Because inclusion strengthens legitimacy and dialogue strengthens democracy. Next slide, please. And to conclude, a shared commitment to nation building means together we build a better South Africa, not separately. Separation causes too much chaos, but together we build a better South Africa for everyone. It leads to peaceful cooperation, democratic participation, indulging in the true essence, in the true meaning of democracy, where everybody gets to participate. It means ethical leadership, constitutional partnership, and national unity. So, and by recognizing the ethical traditions of the First Peoples and welcoming our contribution to national governance, Parliament thereby affirms the inclusive values upon which the Republic of South Africa is built. I thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening to me. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you indeed, High Commissioner. May I just, at this very moment, welcome your very valuable input, and may I add, diverse input. And this is what this public participation process is all about, to hear all voices in South Africa. Just to link on, and I think this may excite you as well, just as it is exciting development for us as a committee. In the meanwhile, the National House of Traditional and Khoisan leaders reached out to the committee with a request for us to assist them in the drafting of their ethics and declaration of interest for members of the National House of Traditional and Khoisan leaders. And that fits in perfectly with your presentation today. So thank you very much for that. Honorable members, I'm going to open the floor for questions and input from your side with this presentation. I see and I note the hand of the Honorable Farmer. Let me just check. Honorable Farmer, at this stage, the floor is yours, and I invite other members to raise their hands as well. Over to you, Honorable Farmer.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to you and the co-chair. Also to the registrar and the staff and all honorable members on the floor. Also, good morning to you, High Commissioner. I just would like to join the chair in welcoming your presentation, and I find it very, very much insightful. At first glance, I guess for us as honorable members on this platform or in this committee, this might sound a bit misplaced in what we do or what we are busy with. However, for me, it's extremely interesting, and I have a desire to maybe want to know more and learn more about what do you present, and maybe try and assist or be part of taking it forward. So I would just like, Chair, in this, use this opportunity to request from the registrar or from the staff to forward me or email me this presentation and maybe the High Commissioner's contact details, so that I can perhaps be in a position to take this matter forward, or not forward, but to understand more and maybe become part of the opportunity to see whether we can make this a reality. I'm also welcoming, Chair, what you've just said about the outreach of the traditional and Khoisan leadership parliament for this committee to assist them. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Farmer. High Commissioner, if you want to reply, the floor is yours. And thereafter, I'm going to recognize the Honorable Mvana as well.
Certainly, thank you so much, Honourable Member Farmer. I shall. I do not object at all to further engage with you, and I do not object at all in my contact details to be forwarded to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, High Commissioner. I recognize the hand of the Honorable Mvana. Honorable, the floor is yours. Honorable Mvana.
Oh, thank you very much. Sorry for delaying, Chairperson. Just that I want to comment this presentation, the previous one and also this one. They are putting us really in a picture, and I think They are trying to also tell us what is it exactly that is expected out of this committee. So I am just really, really appreciating, and thanks ever so much, Chair, Co-Chair, to chair this meeting and have these stakeholders and clear understanding. I can pick it up that they are clear on what is it that needs to happen. I'm also interested to read and reread the presentation from our stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Co-Chair, High Commissioner, you have the opportunity to respond if you wish to do so.
Yes, thank you very, very much, Honorable Mvaza, for that comment. I have no objection to anybody who is interested in receiving the presentation. I am open for them to receive it and learn more, and to please make contact with me. This is about inclusivity of ethics and proper governance and all of that, so that we can have a beautiful country. It would be ideal for South Africa to be the model country of the world. And that can only happen when each and every South African citizen, regardless of race, regardless of creed, regardless of nation, to formulate a proper ethical governance and lead that way. Parliament leads by example. We live by example, something that every other country in the world strives for as well, at least the peoples in every other country strive. We can be that example. A beautiful parliament that includes every single aspect of every South African. So I am completely open to engaging further and to seeing how we can move this forward and engage long term with parliaments. That is what we want. We don't want unnecessary conflicts. It doesn't make sense to be constantly bickering. We need to engage. We need to formulate ourselves. We need to have long structured, formal, intertwining understandings and combine everyone's ideas or ideals of ethical governance so that we can build our country on pride and on inclusion and with opportunities for every single South African. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that input. It is clear that we are all very excited about hearing from South Africans and civil society on how to restore trust between citizens and Parliament, especially when it comes to ethical leadership. I do not see any other hands on the platform, so thank you very much for your presentation. Advocate Gordon, are we ready to go back to item number 6 on the agenda, or not yet?
Thank you, Co-Chairperson. Informed by the staff that we have the next presenter available, not our previous presenter. So we, Chair, with your permission, would go to item 8. And I'm informed that while we have Ms. Annette Lewis as captured on the agenda for the presentation, I'm informed that Ms. Brenda Whittle will indeed be presenting on her behalf. So the presenter, Chair, will be Brenda Whittle, and that would be agenda item 8. We are still trying to make contact with our presenter under item 6. Thank you, Co-Chair.
Thank you, Advocate Gordon. Honourable members, with your permission, then we will proceed to item number 8. The floor is then open to the next presenter. Can we also flight the presentation, please? Advocate Gordon, the next presentation on the screen, please.
I think the staff just may have a glitch or two, Chair, but I think they are on it.
Thank you.
Greetings, everybody on the platform. Yes, I'm leader Annette Foster. Can I just have my slide being opened? I've spoken to Brenda, but she's not feeling well. She's having flu at the moment, so our apologies for that.
No problem, ma'am. The moment that your presentation is on the screen, you may proceed. And as honorable members and members of the public and presenters can gather, it is the first time in 30 years of constitutional democracy that this committee is so open to the public that we are having public hearing on the virtual platform. So having said that, we can expect some technical glitches, but there you are. Your presentation is screened and you may proceed, please.
Thank you, Chair. Let me just start by introducing myself. I am a senior Khoisan leader, Annette Foster, and I am the Queen of the Lewis family. Chair, Honourable Chairperson and members of the Joint Committee on Ethics and members' interest, the Kleikwiklam Tribal Council appreciates the opportunity to participate in the public hearings on the proposed amendment of the Executive Ethics Code. Our submission is informed by Indigenous governance, principle, constitutional values, accountability in public office, transparency and ethical leadership, respect for communities and traditional knowledge holders. Slide 2. Where are the slides? Can I please have slide 2? Can you pause this one? This is slide 1. I'm done with it. Can we go on to slide 2? Okay, thank you. The Kleikwiklam Tribal Council in Indigenous Khoisan Communities Leadership Structures, custodian of Kleikwiklam heritage, culture and traditional knowledge, active in heritage preservation, education, governance and community development. Next point is committed to ethical leadership and responsible governance. Can we have slide 3, please? Slide 3, importance of the Executive Ethics Code. The Executive Ethics Code serves to promote integrity in government, prevent corruption and abuse of power, strengthen public confidence in leadership, ensure accountability of executive members, uphold constitutional democracy, and ethical leadership is the foundation of public trust. Slide 4, please. Slide 4, Indigenous perspective on ethical leadership. Traditional Khoisan leadership principles includes truthfulness, accountability to the people, stewardship of resources, respect to the future for the future generations, collective decision-making, service before self-interest. These principles align closely with the objectives of the Executive Ethics Code. Slide 5, please. Slide 5, key concerns is the current framework should further strengthen transparency, full disclosure of interests, timely reporting of gifts and benefits, accountability, is effective enforcement mechanisms, consequences for ethical violations. Point number 3 is public confidence, clear communication of ethics investigations, greater public awareness of ethical standards. Slide number 6, please. Recommendations. One, stronger disclosure requirements. We recommend expanded disclosure of financial interests, disclosure of indirect interests through trust, associates, or family structures where applicable. Regular updates of declarations, improved accessibility of public records, transparency prevents conflicts of interest. Slide number 7. Slide number 7, executive members should recuse themselves from decision where conflicts exist, declare potential conflicts proactively, avoid participation in procurement processes involving personal interest. This will strengthen public trust and institutional integrity. Slide number 8, please. Recommendations, ethical conduct towards Indigenous communities. The amended code should encourage respectful engagement with Indigenous communities, ethical consultations practices, protection of Indigenous cultural knowledge, prevention of exploitation of Indigenous heritage and resources. Government decisions affecting the Indigenous peoples should be guided by meaningful consultation. Slide number 9, please. Recommendations for improved reporting and enforcement. We recommend clear timelines for ethnic investigations, independent oversight mechanisms, publication of findings where legally appropriate, consistent application of sanctions, ethics regulations must be enforceable and visible. Slide number 10, please. Slide number 10 is recommendation 5, ethics education and training. Mandatory ethics training should be provided to ministers, deputy ministers, executive office staff, senior advisors. Training should cover ethics obligations, conflicts of interest management, Indigenous rights awareness, and public accountability. Slide number 11, please. Indigenous values and constitutional principles. The Cleveland Tribal Council believes that Indigenous values complement constitutional governance. Ethical leadership is a shared national responsibility. Public office is a position of trust, and leadership must serve the people with honesty and dignity. Slide number 12, please. Expected outcomes is to strengthen executive ethics code, will improve accountability, reduce opportunities for corruption, increase public confidence, promote transparent governance, protect vulnerable communities, advance constitutional democracy. Slide number 13, please. My closing statement is that the Cleveland Tribal Council respectfully supports amendments that strengthen ethical governance and accountability within the executive. We encourage the committee to adopt measures that promote integrity, transparency, accountability, respect for Indigenous people, and public trust in government. Slide number 14 is just a thank you of our submission that has been submitted. And what we say at the end is ethical leadership is the bridge between public power and public trust. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It is really welcomed. And I think that the majority of this committee share your sentiments. I'm going to open the platform for engagement by honourable members. Please raise your hand if you want to engage with this presentation. This very moment, I don't see. Oh, Honourable Farmer, I recognize your hands. Please proceed. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning to the Queen also. I would just like to ask for the same thing I asked for the earlier presentation, for it to be shared, and also the contact details, please. And then on this presentation, I picked up some issues on slide 8 and slide 9, but I would much rather take it up outside of this platform with the Queen, if possible. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank
It's
you very
not a
much.
problem, my leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Farmer. Any input from your side to the presenter? None. Any further hands? I don't see any further hands from members on the platform. And I just want to check the chat box. No, I don't see any further engagements. So at this stage, thank you very much for this presentation. It is welcomed, as you can hear from the Honourable Farmer. And then we are going to move on and go back to item number 6. Advocate Gordon, is the presenter available on the platform for item number 6? That is Mr. Ramatsebe.
Thank you, Co-Chairperson. I'm informed by the support staff that Mr. Bitsera Msebi is not contactable. They've been trying to get hold of him to no avail. He is still not logged on. So Chair, I'm not sure. The presenter was supposed to present at 11:30. So I'm not sure, Chair, if we'd want to wait or to call this meeting to an end, considering that it is 10 to 12 and that the presenter is already 20 minutes late. Thank you.
Advocate Gordon, can I just confirm with you that we did receive the presentation from Mr. Ramatsebe?
Correct, Chair. If you have a look at the screen that's flighted, you'll see under item 6, we do have the PowerPoint embedded, so members do have access to that. And all the documents that have already been disseminated to the members of the committee in the folder where the Zoom link was shared. So all the documents are there, Chair. It's just that the presenter is not contactable, hasn't made a show this morning, but we will still take the documents under advisement for the purpose of the consultation process. Thank you, Co-Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Advocate Gordon. At this stage, since we already received the presentation by Mr. Ramatsebe, I do not want to take the opportunity away from him to make his presentation, but we have received the written presentation. So what I am going to suggest, honourable members, that at this stage that we close this meeting for today. There are no further presentations for today, or may I say verbal presentation, oral presentations. We have received a number of presentations on this Executive Code of Ethics, which will be form part of the committee's report at the end of the day, and which will be duly considered when we negotiate and deliberate on the revisement of this specific code. Honourable members, our next meeting will be next Friday. Then we will have a public participation process on Parliament's ethical code and members' interests. And I'm sure you are also looking forward to that session, which will also be a public or open public session. I just want to close to say thank you to my co-chair.
Before Chair?
Yes, who's...
Honourable Mokwele, Chair.
Honourable Mokwele, yes, please, Honourable Member, please come in.
No, thanks very much, Co-Chair, before you close. Mine is only one, just to maybe to request through you to advocate that maybe if we can also get those slides, the one that they presented already, so that at our spare time, we are also able to refresh ourselves, because I should think, as we have been rightfully said the Chair, to say that this is going to be the Bible or our Bible, we as members of Ethics Committee, to make sure that as and when we'll be executing our duty day to day, we make sure that we do everything according to the guideline that we have been receiving from all the presenters. So that's the only thing that I'm requesting, that maybe advocate just to find a way that either maybe you deposit
Honourable Mokwele, you are most welcome, and I appreciate your input. Advocate Gordon, in response.
Thank you, Co-Chairperson. Just to note that to all members that they all have access to the documents already and the presentations. The office staff have circulated. It's in the email. It's in where the link was for the Zoom. All the documents are loaded there as well as the presentations. So members already have access to all those documents. Thank you, Co-Chair.
Thank you, Advocate Gordon. Yes, honourable members, please, when you go back to the documents that were distributed to all members, you can just click on the link to the PDF document that's indicated in the documentation. Honourable members, at this stage, I'm going to close this meeting. But before I do, I just want to thank Advocate Gordon and our wonderful committee staff for the assistance in setting up today's public hearing. It was a first for them as well as for us. So thank you very much, Advocate Gordon, for you and your staff in assisting this committee. Honourable members, I wish you a wonderful weekend and a wonderful day further. Thank you very much. This meeting is then adjourned.
Thank you very much, Co-Chair. And
Thank you,
also
Co-Chair.
enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.